Tottenham winning the Europa League final. In the studio with me, Roy Keane, Jamie Carragher, and Big
What
Meat.
can I just say? You've been great tonight. You know that, Anita.
You know, I had to do good for Arsenal in some way.
Let's not mention that.
I mean...
Does tonight make Arsenal's season worse?
Oh, come on, Jay.
Let's
it's
ask
about
Micah
Spurs
that.
tonight.
Micah's the pundit.
Let's talk about Spurs tonight. We don't need to bring Arsenal into it. You know this.
No, Micah, you're not going to give a word on it?
I'm not
Who's had a better season, Spurs or Arsenal?
Oh, come on.
But they both got Champions League football and one's got a trophy.
And one has a European trophy, one doesn't.
Yeah, so just... what are the chances of North London Champions League derby next season? Maybe the knockout stage?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, imagine table time. It's going to be
OK, well, we're going to react to the game and not on Arsenal because Peter Schmeichel has been talking to the Manchester United manager, Ruben Amorim. Here's what he's had to say.
Ruben, I know how much you love your job and you talk about that a lot, and I mean, this has got to be the worst, to come out here and try to explain how this game didn't turn out the way that we all wanted it to turn out.
Yeah, it's part of the job. We have to deal with that, and we have to try to explain the people the feeling of the dressing room. We are obviously devastated with this loss. We lost one game in this competition. We didn't win it in the last game. I think if you look at the whole game, we were the better team. But in the end, if you don't score goals, you cannot win matches.
How do you think the game was played by your players today?
I think the first half was a little bit tense. The possessions in both teams was not long. We couldn't keep the balls for so long. Tottenham the same way, a lot of second balls. But in the second half, we push the opponent to near the box. We try to cross, to create situations. So in the end, they defend the goal that they score in the divide match in the first half. In the second half, we try everything, but in the end, was nothing.
We talked before the game, we talked about, obviously, it was the access to the Champions League, and we're not going to talk too much about the future, but is there a contingency plan now that we're not in the Champions League and you may think you have more time to develop the team? Is that a positive that we can take out of this?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about positives today, but we need to take advantage of everything.
But
so
we need a little bit of positive.
if we are going to suffer because we don't have Champions League and it's hard on the club, but in the other side we'll have time to develop the team, to pay attention to our academy and to prepare the future. So that is clear. We need to use every minute to improve the team, and of course we always have the two plans to go to the summer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Oh, well, as you can understand, Peter feeling rather sad. Not the case for our Spurs fan over here on my left-hand side, but we're going to go to Peter right now, of course, who's just been talking to him. Peter, I feel so sorry for you. Of course, we've had a lot of fun on the road. I thought I'd be going to Old Trafford with you next season. Not to be the case. What was the mood like around there?
well, and it's unless we start doing the Premier League, but yeah, no European football. You know, I don't know. I mean, I listened to some of the other interviews he did just around me, and he's talking about control. I wanted him to use the word that we're in control because I wanted to ask him what's the difference between being in control and playing well. Because I don't think the team played well. I was very, very frustrated, sat here, just looking at the same pattern every time. The ball got to Harry Maguire, he played it out to Mazraoui. Then Ahmed got the ball, he tried a little bit, passed it back. There wasn't what we saw in like the last 10 minutes of the Lyon game, for instance. All of that wasn't there today. And you think they're in the final, you know, somebody's got to bring something, but it wasn't there.
Peter, can I ask you, you know, he's persistent on playing this 3-4-3. It doesn't work with these players, does it?
In all fairness, today it wouldn't have mattered what system they played because Spurs literally defended, and they did it well. They had one shot on target today. That was a goal, which was an own goal. They had one touch in the second half in Manchester United's box. One touch. They just defended. So, you know, whatever system you... Whatever system, it wouldn't have mattered.
Madison! How you doing, Jamesy boy?
You got changed.
I had to get a medal.
James has literally done, what's it called, the John Terry?
The John Terry
It's
full
called
kit.
the James
I didn't go with
Maddison
shin
now.
pads this time, but...
Have you got your shin pads on, James?
No,
not quite.
boots,
To be fair, I weren't going to do any interviews, but then I heard it was with Roy Keane, so...
Come on, Roy, it's on you.
Hey, Madders, can you do the downside, please? Do it for us, will ya?
Oh, will I? With pleasure, Micah, with pleasure. Roy Keane, that's for you, sir.
I've always said he's a good player. That's it. I always said he's a good player, but he needs to be more consistent. Simple as that. And he played well tonight.
The reason why we were here tonight, Roy.
Don't worry. I know you played your part. Well done. Don't worry.
I'm only messing. I came down to have a word. He just pulled me, but I did like it, man. Like,
well done.
James,
so
James,
cool,
can I just ask you?
I heard you a hit.
What is this for? You know, you've joined Tottenham. You want to win trophies, but you're always sort of talked about as a club who they don't win, they can't get over the line. I mean, what's that going to mean to sort of the players right now? What's the feeling being leading up to this game and almost that pressure on you to prove so many people wrong?
Well, that's what it is, Carragher, to be fair. And, like, all joking aside, like, people like yourself and Roy, who go quite heavy in the media about putting us down and that, you've got to use that, do you know what I mean? And when I joined Tottenham, and you know what it's like, everyone just goes, he's retired from winning any trophies now and all this. And I said to my dad and I said to my best mate, I was like, I'm going to lift silverware for Tottenham. And listen, I know it sounds like I'm not trying to make this mad story, but I fully believe that I could come and we could create something that could. And just building up, you know what it's like, it gets bigger. We're against United, who have been a dominant force over the years in Europe and domestically. Even in the last few years when they haven't been great, they've still managed to pick up trophies, and we knew that would be a bit of the chat going into it. But I sensed the focus and I sensed the togetherness that, especially with this year as well, with Palace winning the FA Cup and a lot of them outsiders kind of winning, I sensed it could be something special. And
so you're calling yourself outsiders then?
No, but I'm just saying Palace were outsiders and won, and then Harry Kane went and won his first title, and I think Bologna won in the Italia Cup against Milan, and I just had this feeling, you know, and
James,
yeah, and especially with the gaffer, with what he said at the start of the season as well, it made sense, didn't it?
James, I mean, it's just interesting when you say when people sort of give you criticism, and one of the reasons why we do give not just your Tottenham team criticism, the club over the last few years, is that you've lost 7 semi-finals since you last won a trophy. You've lost 4 finals, so I think the criticism comes from not getting across the line. But how does that criticism affect you or the dressing room when you hear the likes of, you know, us on the panel or other people? Do you use it? Does it affect players now? Because we probably didn't have it in the social media world as much as players have it now.
Yeah, well, the social media word, Carragher, heightens everything times 100, doesn't it? But when you talk about them records and that, a lot of the players haven't been here for that long, that record, so it's almost like an incentive to be the group that can change that. Do you know what I mean? And the gaffer, to be fair to him, since he come in, has always said, he pointed at in our dressing room at the Spurs ground. They've got all the walls of all the teams at Spurs who have won trophies, and they're all black and white and they're all old. And he's always made a thing about saying that get on that wall. It's about us getting on that wall. You know? Like, you think of Harry Kane, who's the best player in the club's history, and he's not on the wall, unfortunately. And being the group that can change that. And we have now. So I can smile, I can enjoy, I can have a beer tonight and listen to you lot be quiet.
James, can you show us that medal, please? Can you bring it closer to the camera?
I'll get nice and close for you, Micah.
Yes, of course you will.
Give it a kiss. Give it a
Look
kiss.
at that.
Give it a kiss.
Absolutely fantastic. But James, before you go, one last question. You know, it's a different team tonight, not the Champions League. This is a Europa League team. I just want to ask you, who's your favourite on the show?
Roy's not a regular, is he?
Bit like you at Spurs.
Turned up in all the big ones, Carragher. You go and check your stats.
Brilliant.
Micah, you're my favourite, mate. All right. After
Yes,
that comment, you're my favourite, Micah. All right.
Congratulations.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Congratulations. What a
Peter,
personality he's got.
Yeah, definitely. Peter, that was a bit awkward. You were there almost crying about the state of your
it
club,
wasn't.
and then James comes along
Yeah, I know.
celebrating. But can you give us just one final word on the state of Manchester United? Where do they go from now?
I know. Well, I know James quite well. Obviously, he played with my son at Leicester. He's a good lad. He's a really, really good player. And I thought for a long, long time, running up to preparing for this game, that he would be missed today. But the way that Tottenham played, I don't think that he could have made a big difference with the skill set that he has. Maybe they could have played different. I don't know. But honestly, on that United question, it's you know, this season has been so bad. It's gone. I mean, we've lost 18 games in the Premier League. 18 games. I haven't got this top of my head, but I don't even think in my time I lost 18 games in the whole 8 years I was there. It's just too much. And the thing about it is, where do you see the light? Where is the hope? What is it that you can cling on to where you say, okay, fine, now I can see this going forward? I just can't see. The only thing, and I asked Ruben about that, probably the wrong time to ask him, but I asked him, the time you will get now to train with your players, is that a positive that we can take from this? And of course he didn't completely answer that, but it's the only thing. But that changes needs to happen, and it's not just a football team, it's not just in the dressing room there, it's everywhere at the football club.
Peter, Toddy just checked that you actually lost 19 in your first season.
What we can be sure of is it will be Manchester United's worst league finish in the Premier League era. But Pete, after 41 years, they have got a European trophy, and one of their biggest players, Harry Kane, of course, didn't win any silverware with the club, is congratulating them. What a lovely year for the two, I guess, Harry Kane and the club. He won with Bayern Munich, the Bundesliga. The club have now got some silverware. It seems like the stars have aligned for them.
Yeah, but you'd expect Harry to win something at Bayern.
Yeah.
There's a big surprise with still the way Tottenham have been playing over the last few months, that they would get over the line in a big game. But they did, proved us all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Jamie, you've been looking back at the big moment of the game.
Yes, and you got the analysis right before the game.
Yeah, so you can hand it over to me. I'll be taking this. Thank you very much. Well, we mentioned this inside channel here, and we mentioned about the bodies that but this space here, once it goes like that, you all don't know what to do. And we talked about the game engaging, and we're going to play it on the second angle a little bit slower just so we can break it down a little bit more here. So they've got the players in the areas here, but because they're playing this 3-4-3 system, they all don't know what to do. This is a great run. Just pause it here. This is brilliant. Chloe, if you just pause it there, brilliant. He takes Fernandes away to allow to get into this inner channel. But look at all these bodies here. No one knows what to do there. Yeah. Jamie?
Well, I always say this as centre-back. I'm going to look at Maguire a lot on this goal, because the only reason any player makes a run is, and we'll know this is a midfield play, because you see space. You don't run if there's players there, because you're just going to run into them. The space between, I'm not sure, I think this is Euro, there's Harry Maguire. Your space between, can't be that big. He has to fill that space, and then what happens is you have to become a back four. So this thing that you're playing a back five, sometimes if one of your defenders steps out, you're a four, and then everybody comes out. That space is too big, which then means the Tottenham player makes that run because there's too much space between your defenders.
And the point is, like, Spurs aren't doing anything extraordinary. It's all pretty simple play. This is where you still have to be really critical of United's defensive shape and decision making. We discussed before the game, when it does go wide and the ball's put in, players not doing their jobs, not concentrating. Shaw maybe not match fit. Maguire focus on his man. Remember, there's only one ball. Just focus on the ball sometimes.
If we could just roll that on slowly, please. I mean, you talk about people's body positions, you're talking about being very aggressive. So, actually, they're in decent positions here, and we just stop it here. Now, when you play wing-back in this side, the whole point when you're playing in this system is so you can engage. No one engages. Roll it on slowly there, please. That is too easy. And then, can Maguire do a little bit better there also?
And we ask our defenders, people talk about our midfielders, about doing a job. You've got to multitask. You've got to be able to do this and still clear the ball. As if, like, I've got my man here. No, you've got to multitask. Do more than one job.
It's just been too easy. I think
Far too easy.
It's a common
It's been like
theme.
that all season for United. Far too easy.
Roy, unfortunately, we can't have you next season for a Manchester United perspective, but would you come as a Spurs
Can we
fan?
swap him for anyone?
Not sure. Let me
You're
have a
not
think
sure?
about it.
Speak to your agent.
We've enjoyed having you in the studio.
Micah.
Marks out of 10 for Roy's debut.
Absolutely
11.
brilliant.
11.
11. 10 out of 10.
Hey,
Who's
start.
Kate? Who's Thierry?
Oh, we've got a new team in town.
Yeah,
New
a
team
new
in
team
town. What would you give Anita?
10 out of 10, baby.
You guys, you've been a
lovely.
pleasure to work with.
What would you
Yeah.
Tiger?
Me?
Me.
Your analysis, 10 out of 10.
We're always
7
top
out of
notch,
10.
aren't we?
Take 7,
We're
take
always
7.
top notch, aren't we?
You should probably send Tottenham that analysis. They might need it next season.
Yeah, might do.
OK, well, congratulations to Tottenham Hotspur. Thank you.